everyone, my name is Nailea with Do Money. I'm a finance professional as well as a tax preparer, and in today's video we're going to go over a very common question that I get is, can I deduct my medical expenses from my tax return? We're going to go over what can be deducted, what can't be deducted, how to make that estimate, and the calculation that goes with it. But don't be afraid, we're going to break it down one step at a time, so stay tuned. All right, so it is the 2021 tax year, meaning it is now 2022 calendar year, and we are going to be preparing 2021 taxes. It is January of 2022 right now, so we are answering a lot of questions at this point and making sure that everyone has all their documents they need. And so is it worth itemizing your medical expenses? And what does itemizing even mean? Itemizing is breaking down all of the expenses that you've had throughout the year related to medical, adding them all up, and then that number will be deducted from your total income in order to reduce your taxable income. That's the whole point of itemizing something versus allowing the standard deductions to process. So for medical expenses, it's only worth itemizing your deductions if your medical expenses is greater than 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. What's your adjusted gross income? We'll talk about that later on in the video, and I'll show you how to get an estimate of that number. So what can be deducted? What can be deducted in general are prescription medications and medical expenses that have not been reimbursed. Also, they cannot have been paid out of a tax advantage savings account. For example, a health savings account or HSA. Stay tuned because I will definitely be making a video about an HSA account. I love mine. I love the benefits of it, and we can talk more about that in another video. So are copays included in medical expenses that can be deducted? Yes, they are. Is any medication that you purchase online, can that be deducted? Yes, as long as it's a prescription medication. Again, non-prescription drugs can generally not be deducted. The only one that really comes up is insulin. You can get over the counter, and that can be deducted. Another question I commonly get is, can I deduct supplements? So if you like to work out or just have general health supplements, those cannot be deducted. But if you've been told by your doctor to take a supplement, for example, if you've been asked to take iron for anemia, or if you have been asked to take vitamin D because you have low vitamin D levels, those can be deducted. Is nicotine replacement therapy deductible from your taxes? Unfortunately, it is not a medical expense that is deductible at this time. Can dental care products be deducted? So that's toothpaste, dental floss, toothbrushes. Unfortunately, those cannot be deducted at this time. Another common question is, can medical marijuana be deducted? If you live in a state where medical marijuana is legal, it still cannot be deducted because it is not federally legal. Once it is federally legal, if maybe you're watching this video in a few years and it is, then the answer to that question is probably going to be yes. But until then, the answer is no. Can glasses be deducted? Yes, they can, as long as they're for prescription glasses. If they're just for looking really cool, then no, those cannot be deducted. Stay tuned to the end for a very common medical expense that can be deducted that's not commonly talked about. All right, so now let's talk about how to get to that 7.5%. First, we have to know what our income is. What is income? Income is any money that has come in from either its payroll wages, Social Security, rental income, dividend income, capital gains. Any revenue that's come in is considered income. All right, so what is adjusted gross income? Adjusted gross income is income adjusted for allowable tax expenses. So that is gross income minus your standard deductions that you could pretty much come up with based on other forms you have, such as student loan payments or HSA contributions, also self-employment tax payments, as well as losses from a sale of property. I highly recommend that if you are itemizing your medical expenses, you do hire a tax professional, as we use pretty expensive tax software versus like your TurboTax or any free software out there that's going to have more options and make sure that all of your deductions are actually included in that number. All right, now that you have your 7.5%, you want to take that number and it's going to be your minimum threshold for medical expenses. So if your medical expenses are way over that number, then you are solid. You definitely need to stop and write down all of your medical expenses, whether it's on Excel or Mac numbers, whatever it is, so that you can give it to a tax preparer or have it for your own records after you put it into your tax return. Speaking of records, do you need receipts? No, not really, actually. The IRS accepts bank statements and credit card statements for all of your medical expenses. So there's really no need to keep every single receipt and every single signature that you've ever put in. All right, now it's time for my big tip. Thank you for staying tuned till the end. So the big tip that's not often talked about is that your premiums can also be deducted as medical expenses. Yes, your medical premiums can be deducted as medical expense. All right, thanks for hanging in there to the end of the video. I hope that I can answer more tax and finance related questions for you in the next video. And if you have any questions, please comment and hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you again later.